Excellencies, distinguished participants, dear friends, уважаемые дамы и господа. It is less than 2 years that we met at the conference in Geneva, and from that time on, and actually less than half a year that we met in Baku. And from that time, actually, a considerable progress has been made. We work jointly, World Academy of Art and Science, and the Republic of Kazakhstan in trying to establish the world without nuclear weapons, the world where peace would be developing and also human prosperity. And at the same time, of course, we have to admit that there were serious deterioration in the world situation. Let me just mention that when physicists started the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientist back immediately after the Second World War, they put the doomsday clock, symbolizing where we are, at 7 minutes to midnight. Then it deteriorates to 2 minutes when both hydrogen bombs of the USSR and USA were exploded. Then, of course, the things considerably improved, and it was moved to 17 minutes at the time of the end of the Cold War, to deteriorate again, and on the 1st of January 1914 of this year, it was to 5 minutes, and I wonder whether now, after all of the problems that we had, maybe it is even as bad as it ever was. Now, what are the reasons for that, and what are the general pictures of this, of course, can also be looked from the words of Rodrigo Rato, who was at that time the managing director of IMF, and he spoke at the meeting, I think, of the Club of Rome that Roberto Pecei organized again less than 10 years ago. And he said that the most serious problems we are facing are the problems of, as he called it at that time, the financial crisis and the climate change. Now we see that things are even worse now than they were then. The financial crisis grew to the economic crisis, which is still going on more or less in many places of the world. We do have attempted some of the methods which are not necessarily good. And of course, in terms of the destruction of the natural capital, as has been beautifully said by Chairman Tokayev in his talk, we really destroyed several very important things: human diversity, the nitrogen cycle, and the question of the climate change. And the question of the climate change is not just a minor increase of 1 or 2 degrees, is actually the overall pattern there, where when you put the index of the climate effect, then this index is constantly deteriorating. It is very important now to stress that the recent meeting and the press conference where the Secretary General of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, was present, he pointed out the important conclusion of the Intergovernmental Panel on Global Change, stressing just this issue. So what we are witnessing now is the destruction of both natural and human capital. Now the human capital and natural capital turn out actually to be the backbone, the most important capitals we have. The natural capital, its importance has been stressed by all of our founding fathers in the World Academy, from Einstein and Bertrand Russell to Harlan Cleveland, and particularly in the Club of Rome from Aurelio Pecei and Alex King. It is actually this potential that allows us, if we would phrase it in one report to the Club of Rome, there is no limit to learning, which we could extend and say there is no limit to human creativity. This would be the way how we could actually go and progress. So the problems is clearly identified. We have to do something to really prevent the destruction of the natural and human capital. Now, how do we do it? How do we approach to its solution? We could actually list 4 ways. One, which we have been usually doing very frequently. And as a matter of fact, at this year, the 100th anniversary of the First World War, usually people like to stress this recurrence of the war, again, war, them and us. That is a totally wrong solution. The other option, of course, the option of not doing anything, is also a wrong solution because there are mechanism itself which brings us more and more. Then there are two other possibilities, the incremental changes and more profound paradigmatic changes. The word paradigm was actually first, to my knowledge, used by Plato more than 2,000 years ago, where he was describing the word paradigm as a pattern how the god, the demiurge, makes the universe. And then, of course, it went essentially into oblivion and was used by Thomas Kuhn only in the 20th century and was applied specifically to physical sciences, most notably to physics. And there, of course, it spoke about a major paradigmatic change that occurred at the beginning of the 20th century with quantum physics and theory of relativity. Just so to remind you how important that change is, let me tell you that what it introduced the duality. You could be a wave and you could be a particle, something which is completely unacceptable until that time was for physics. It moved up the probability. It came up with the uncertainty principle, which was extremely important in challenging the concepts of the space and time. Why I am saying that? Because now, of course, if we are talking about a paradigm, we are talking about the paradigm change in the field of economics and political sphere. And it is really a very profound thing that maybe we have to face. We still don't know what are all of the things that could have to be changed, but it is rather important that actually two groups of people, and some of them are present here as well, namely scientists and those that we loosely call politicians. Though we are all politicians because we are all voters, we are all citizens, we all make decisions in one way or another. It is this actually interaction which is of utmost importance. Now, when I look at the World Academy of Art and Science, to follow what my president, Heitor, has just said, we started from the very beginning actually mixing membership from various organizations. Many of us came from the Club of Rome and later on were elected in the World Academy, and vice versa. Some of us were in the World Academy and later on became members of the Club of Rome. And that started very intensively, definitely in this last decade from 2011. And then it extended to PAGMAS, to European Leadership Network, an association of political leaders of Europe, where Kasim Jomart and I met actually 3 years ago, and that was actually the way how we started collaborating on the issue of creating weapons of mass destruction-free zones. Just to mention the important activity there is that, of course, there are new ways how to put forward with the ideas of a new paradigm where we are using some old methods. For instance, we all know that NATO was considered just to be a military alliance, essentially put it against the Warsaw Pact. But there is now a call signed by 40 distinguished men, among them four fellows of the World Academy and one member of the Club of Rome, calling actually to NATO to take part in a fight which is now much more relevant, and this is a fight against Ebola rather than anything else. Similarly, of course, there is a question of what can be done in terms of the activity of, again, organizations that we collaborate, like the Global Roundtable organization, essentially one of the partner organizations of the World Academy, and we started with the document titled Quo Vadis Europe, which was now distributed to newly elected 700 members of the European Parliament, to European Commission, and to various committees there. The Millennium Development Goal, as a again has been stressed, and Sustainable Development Goals are now something which is a really milestone in the future development, and possibly really represents the way how the existing system that we have, that proved quite successful, UN system has proved in many ways successful, it has still to be improved, developed, and many things done. And there, of course, is very important this part of the title of this conference, G Global, where the initiative of President Nursultan Nazarbayev and the Republic of Kazakhstan, as we heard in a message just presented to us, really represent this important contribution how to try to make things better than just the UN Security Council or the G7, G8, the G20 or anything like that. Really trying to put a system where we would really build together in a harmonious, I am using one of the points stressed by Chairman Tokayev, in a harmonious ways of building a world without large, enormous differences which are destroying, as I emphasized, both human and natural capital, and which are even inhibiting and freezing the use of the human-made capital. So through all of these interactions between sciences and the political process, we hope at this conference, which will then be continued at other conferences, notably in about half a year in a conference in Baku, to start to formulate and finally implement a possibly new paradigm of the sustainable human development. Thank you very much.